1.32.
How do you feel about having your English corrected?
I actually really appreciate it because otherwise I would just not know that I've made a mistake. In fact, sometimes I remember either a specific context or a place in which I was corrected, and that just helps me recall the correct version much easier. And of course, a lot depends on who the person is who corrects me and how they do it. So if they're going to be nice and friendly, I will listen to them willingly. But if they're not, then I will naturally assume that they just wanted to be mean and point out that my English is not that good after all.
Is there anything you still find difficult about English?
There are so many words in English. I find I come across a new one pretty much every single day. And I think it'll always be a challenge, but also an adventure, because there will be something new and something to learn for me, always. And just yesterday, I learnt a new word. The word is intrepid. And I found it in a description of a film that I wanted to watch, which was the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Do you feel in any way a different person when you're speaking English compared to when you're speaking in your own language?
Well, this is actually a really interesting question. If you Googled two languages, two personalities, it's amazing how many different blogs and newspaper articles actually talk about it. I wouldn't say that I'm a different person. I don't think it's a split personality disorder we have to deal with. But I think that what does change is that my behaviour and the way that I communicate with people is affected by the language in which I speak at the time. Without trying to sound stereotypical, but I'm more polite and tentative in English, and I'm much more direct when I speak Polish. I think you can see it most obviously in writing. So if I have to write an email in Polish and it's sort of squeezed somewhere in between messages that I write in English, then after a few sentences, I've realised that I've just used so many could-haves and would-haves, and I still haven't got to the point. So basically, it's just a question of delete and start again.
Do you have any stories about not understanding someone?
For me personally, the most traumatic experience linguistically was when I visited my partner's family who live in Buckie, which is a really charming small fishing village in the north of Scotland. It's in the Moray Firth. And I have to say that as I thought I spoke pretty good English, but my confidence was crushed because I realised that I was understanding about 30% of what everyone around me was saying. And it wasn't just the accent, it was the actual words. They were completely different. So turns out that, for example, I've got one bairn, and to go to the shops, I have to go down the brae, which, if you translate it, means that I've got one child, and to get to the shops, I have to go down the hill.